Hey, hi everyone. I just wanted to make a video about Charles Martinet, the voice actor for Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and others. And he is retiring. Or rather, Nintendo is promoting him to the role of Mario Ambassador. And I just wanted to, say a couple things about, what his, role meant to me and, my interactions with him, few may they be. It was really nice to meet him a couple times, and I will say, he will be missed, and he is, pretty irreplaceable. So basically what happened was Nintendo released this hard-to-read, white-on-red statement. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, and as far back as Mario 64. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with all of you. Now, the thing is, he does really like going to cons and meeting people, and I'll tell you about that in a bit. At least it seems that way. It's been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we will post at a future date. So, as of the time of this recording, there's no special video message yet, but it's a little bittersweet, and, I mean, he's 67. I feel like he still can do the voices. And, it's a little different than it was, of course, because age is just that. But he is one of the most exuberant, incredibly energetic, for his age especially, voice actors in gaming. And I feel like even if it's just Wahoo, there's still something about that that just has so much life. Back when I was growing up, Mario sounded like the Mario voices that I do, which is my own take on, the Super Show mixed with the Mario 3 show. So, Walker Boone and Tony Rosato. And, to me, Mario always sounded like a gruff Italian man, "Hey, Luigi, how you doing? It's me, Mario!" And then, Bob Hoskins did that, too. So, when Mario 64 came around, which was not his first Mario role, I think it was, I played it. It was like a Mario Kart game, or, Mario Teaches Typing, maybe? He was a floating head. But anyway, yeah. Hearing Mario in this era was a little bit, jarring. Because, again, it's not the stereotypical Italian New Yorker man. But I think his role was so good that now anyone who does Mario is just doing some sort of impression of Charles. Which is saying a lot. Like Chris Pratt, I thought he was fine in the Mario movie. After seeing it, you kind of forget about it. But he does his little wahoos, and it sounds a little bit more like Charles Martinet's Mario than the old versions. And apparently Super Mario Wonder is not Charles Martinet. So those wahoos are going to be a different person. The wowie zowie! That, and other lines are going to be someone else. So again, we're going to have a new era of people doing Mario voices, maybe even different people doing all the characters that he did. And the fact that he did all those characters and made them distinct enough, there's talent there. So it's hard to replace that level of iconic talent. And again, the name Charles Martinet is associated with Mario. He kind of became his own celebrity. And he also was able to deliver full sentences, converse and do ad-lib, off-the-cuff stuff with fans at conventions, or through some, he would go to, a studio, and his voice would be piped in, and it would be a floating Mario head. So he could do those voices for prolonged periods of time. He's very, talented off the cuff, just talking to people. That brings me to his whole thing with conventions. I guess, I was at Too Many Games. Maybe it was 5 years ago, and he was there. And he had a long line, as you can imagine. And he was signing for hours and hours and hours. And I was in a booth not far from him. But he didn't know who I was or like if I was a guest or anything. And I noticed at the end of the convention, he had a shorter line. Like he had gotten to everybody. So I went over to him and I paid and I said, "Hey, Charles, I'm just a really big fan. And thank you for all your time doing this voice. You know, it really kind of defined a lot of my life growing up." And his voice was tired. He would do the Mario voice with everyone and try to like personalize it a little bit. Every copy is personalized, I know. But he would kind of gear his, you know, talking with you to get to know you a little bit and try to, you know, do the voices of Mario and Luigi. And he signed this for me. And as he was writing the phrases, like near the characters, he would do the voice of each character. And again, you know, he was busy. He had a long day. And he still did them, even if it was very low. And I always appreciated that. So, really cool guy. Fast forward this year, I'm at Too Many Games again, and I'm in the back area where the talent, quote unquote, I'm including myself in this, like it's like what talent here, but okay, I say spin. Meanwhile, David Hayter's back there, and I'm like, okay, I'm talking to David Hayter now, and I'm here for some reason. And then Charles walks in, and he is such a nice guy, and he's like, you know, getting his tea, and he's getting everything ready, and he's just being really gracious to all the people that work there. And I just said hi. Basically, he said hi back. I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want it to turn into a thing. He was just getting his day started. And I wasn't going to be like, hey, by the way, I do some voices. By the way, you know, I'm also here. It was just like, listen, I'm standing next to the guy. We're working the same convention, more or less. You could call it that. And that was enough for me. And it really made my day, along with David Hayter saying, "Squeeze my hog." But that's a different story. Charles was just really professional the whole weekend. And he got to everyone. His line was very long. Every day he was there. And you could tell he loves meeting the fans and bringing joy to people. And that's really rare. And he, at his age now, 67, would do that until he got to everyone. So, class act through and through. It's nice to hear he's still going to go to conventions. He's still going to do his voice. He's going to probably advise. And he'll probably have a nice retirement. And he'll probably end up having a really good time. Just going and meeting fans and being that guy that they want him to be. So, you know, there's a silver lining. It's the end of an era. He is irreplaceable in the sense that now, instead of, like I said, people doing a different take on Mario, I think they're just going to get real close to him. Like, especially the N64 era, there was a lot of, like, you know, let's figure out how to do this. Now, Charles defined it. So, you know, and also, guy was talented in other ways. He was in Skyrim as, like, the dragon Parthenox, I think it's called, Parthenox. And you wouldn't even know it's him if you were just playing through the game and you didn't know. But he is really good as that character. And his voice is totally different. You can tell, if you know the Wario voice, you might be able to tell. But he does a completely different performance. The guy could do dramatic performance as good as anyone. And he was not just the wahoo guy, which I feel when you're that iconic, it's a double-edged sword because you do get a lot of work as the Nintendo guy. You end up making a lot of people happy, but then maybe you kind of get a little typecast or pigeonholed into one specific kind of thing, which is why I'm glad he did that role. And there's others too. Like he's probably been in stuff. Let me find out right now. He's probably been in stuff that I didn't even know it was him. Well, while I look that up, I will say there is one particular clip, and I'm sorry to do this if you're watching, Charles, which he's not. There's, of course, some disgusting game that's supposed to educate you on the body, on the human body, that I discovered on a Sunday stream some years ago. And here's one of his famous lines in that game. And again, I am so sorry, but...
Anal sphincter.
Yeah. And I think that was just before or just at the beginning of his stint as Mario. He played like Dracula in a live action like promo for some company. But yeah, I mean, he was in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for a couple episodes. He was in well, obviously the Mario movie, which is a little bittersweet. He was in Dragon Ball, a movie in Dragon Ball. A movie of Dragon Ball. He was in The Game from 1997. Okay. He did some voices in Beauty and the Beast. Oh, never mind. That's direct-to-video. But otherwise, yeah. Mario Teaches Typing, I believe, was his first, it says here, video game as Mario. But he was in Super Punch-Out. Skies of Arcadia as Vigoro. See, I didn't even know that. And Skies of Arcadia is one of my favorite games. Star Wars X-Wing Alliance, Cell Damage, Jet Set Radio Future. You know, I will say, he's had quite a number of games where he wasn't just Mario. He played Eowyn and Gimli in Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Wow. Okay, so Orvis in Ratchet & Clank Future, A Crack in Time. So yeah, I mean, he's had some roles, and he's definitely been in a couple things that you would not expect. But lately, it's been just a ton of Mario roles. And then him having a cameo in the movie was, I think it was a good cameo. Of course, it would have been nice to see him in the movie more, if not as Mario, but then as someone a little bit more visible. But him playing the characters he did, which was that Jumpman kind of guy at the arcade at the beginning, and I think Mario's father as well, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he did play Mario's father, but regardless, it was nice, and it's a little bittersweet knowing that might be his last stint as Mario. So, anyway, I just wanted to make this video because I feel like, as someone who likes to do voices, as someone whose career has actually kind of taken off a little bit as a result of my Mario Luigi voices. Yeah, Mario and Luigi's father and Giuseppe, he did... Yeah, that's perfect. But as someone who has a lot of respect and is interested in voice acting, and also loves the Mario games from when I was a kid, it is sad to see him go. I hope he enjoys his retirement. I hope he's been paid well. And I hope maybe even he'll show up somewhere in some other stuff. It would be nice at any time to see him at a convention. And I wish him well. And I hope that whoever is next to do these voices, you know, does a good job, of course. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. So thanks, Charles. I appreciate you. Appreciate the memories, and even those couple little personal ones I have. It's been really, really cool. So, thanks, Charles Martinet, for everything you've done. Bye, everyone.